What if I told you just one call could save you $50,000? In this video, I'm going to cover how to shop around for a lender, questions to ask, what to expect, and then how you can get the best rates. These are the exact steps that I took to get my 2.625% interest rate. Stay to the end of the video so that you can find out how I helped my friend save $50,000 on his mortgage. So I recently bought my first property and I went through the loan shopping process. When I first started, I had no idea what to ask, what to expect, or even how to find the contact information for loan officers. We're also going to go over why it's really important to talk to multiple lenders and then also how to find them. Hey everyone, what's going on? If you're new here, I'm Davis and welcome to my channel. This video is part of my first time homebuyer series where I cover each step of the home buying process that I just went through for my property so that you can save more money, have a less stressful buying experience, and then get the best deal possible on your house. If you haven't already, click the subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss out on my next video. Generally, most home buyers don't talk to more than one lender, and that's going to be a huge mistake because this can cost you more than tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. Loan officers are here to help home buyers get money for their home loans. However, different loan officers have different rates and different closing costs. In this video, I use the term loan officer and lender interchangeably, but technically you'll be working with a loan officer who's dealing with a lender to provide you money for your loan. If you shop around, you'll likely be able to get lower rates, which will give you three main benefits. Having a lower rate will allow you to have a lower monthly payment, let you pay less interest over the life of your loan, and then help you knock out principal much faster and build more equity. I highly recommend you speak to at least 3 to 4 different lenders. When I was shopping around, I spoke to 4 different lenders. They all gave me a completely different rate and I had a completely different experience talking to all 4 of them. I got estimates for rates ranging as high as 2.95 all the way down to 2.75. I actually ended up settling for 2.625 and paying just some points. Talking to multiple loan officers, I was able to get the absolute best rate, which nearly knocked down my monthly payment by $75 and probably saved me over $50,000 over the life of my loan. By speaking to multiple loan officers, you'll be able to see how they differ in terms of communication and operation. You'll likely end up with a much better rate, and then your closing process will be much smoother. At this stage in the home buying process, you likely already have an agent, and then you probably have a loan officer to get you to do the pre-approval. However, I highly recommend that you speak to your agent to get a referral for a loan officer. If your agent does have a potential loan officer to recommend, they'll likely only recommend people that they've worked with before and they can trust, because they know that the loan officer is a key person in the closing process. There's disclaimers, and I believe there's a law from all the millions of forms that I saw that agents cannot get a kickback or a referral for referring a loan officer to help with a mortgage. If you're having trouble finding a loan officer, the next best group of people you should ask is your friends and family. Ask them about their experience with a loan officer that they're recommending, and then any kind of questions that you have. For me, my friends and family were an invaluable source as they answered all my noob questions. Once you've asked your friends and family for recommendations, the next group of people you should ask is your coworkers. Another resource or potential place that you can ask is local personal finance Facebook groups. I was actually able to get more than 5 referrals for loan officers in my local Facebook group. If you want to reach outside of your own personal networks, another good place to look is BiggerPockets. I know this seems like it's going to take a lot of time and research, however, I highly recommend that you talk to at least 3 to 4 different loan officers. Shopping around for rates, you can get an estimate on your rates and closing costs by providing just a few things. The first thing you'll need to provide is an estimated credit score. The higher your credit score, the lower the rate. And if you have a score higher than 760, then you'll likely get the best rates. Next thing you'll need to provide to the loan officer is the purchase price of your home. The third thing you'll need to provide to the loan officer is your gross income from your W-2. If you have a 1099, I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do because my experience was using my W-2. And the last thing you'll need to provide to the loan officer is your down payment amount. Using just these 4 items, the loan officer should be able to give you an estimated rate and closing costs without pulling your credit. But the most important thing is, once you choose a loan officer, the numbers don't matter unless you get an official loan estimate document. In order to get an official loan estimate, you'll need to provide financial documents and then specific workplace information. There's a lot that goes into this, so I'm going to make a separate video on documents that you should have ready, how to set them up so that it's super easy, so subscribe so you don't miss out on that video. Having never bought a house and never worked with a loan officer in the past, I had no idea what to expect. but after talking to 4 different loan officers, I know exactly what to expect and the specific questions to ask. There are 5 different things that you should definitely keep in mind when you're speaking to all these different loan officers. The first thing most people are concerned with is getting the best rates. However, that shouldn't be the only deciding factor in picking your loan officer. What you'll be able to do is take the rate from one loan officer and then ask another loan officer to match it. Sometimes a loan officer won't be able to match it, but they'll be able to get very, very close. When you're starting to talk to the loan officers, the very first thing that you should ask is, what rate will you be able to give me? Next thing you should watch out for is closing costs. These closing costs will vary from loan officer to loan officer. You can get an estimate of these closing costs in a document called a loan estimate. Without getting into too much details, closing costs consist of the cost to start and process the loan, title transfer costs, prepayments on insurance and taxes, and a few other key items. When you're shopping around, you'll likely be able to get verbal confirmations on rates and then specific closing costs. However, the key item is the loan estimate document. Loan estimate is an official document that shows you your purchase price of your house, your potential interest rate, and then a line-by-line breakdown of all your closing costs. Knowing all this, the next question that you should ask your loan officer is, what are my estimated closing costs? Once you know an estimated rate and a potential closing cost, the next most important thing for a smooth closing process is how fast they can close and then how fast they can process your loan. Typical closing period is between 30 and 45 days, with 45 days being on the slower end. That's right, once you enter into escrow and your offer is accepted, you literally have to wait more than a month. Some loan officers can close in under 30 days, typically around 27 to 29 days. The loan officer that you're speaking to should be able to tell you how fast on average they're closing out their loans. For my loan officer was able to close exactly in 30 days. When you're speaking to your loan officer, all you need to ask them is, how fast can you close, and then what's your average closing time? The next thing that you should watch out for when you're speaking to your loan officer is, do you understand them when they're talking about all this different loan jargon? There's going to be a lot of loan and housing terms that you've probably never even heard of in all the million of documents that you're going to be signing. Speaking to the different loan officers, ask them how their process works and what their costs are. If they're going too fast or you only understand about half of what they're saying, ask them to reiterate. You want to be able to pick and work with somebody that you can understand with all these new terms that are going to be thrown at you. It's very important to find a loan officer that speaks your language so that they can explain these small details and then help you make sense of everything. And the last and probably the most important thing you want to watch out for is find out how responsive they are. You want to work with a loan officer who's going to treat your loan with urgency and then respond to your questions within a few hours. Loan officers are likely very busy because they're working with other clients and processing other loans. However, you want to see if they respond in a timely manner and then consistently update you without you having to reach out. A good way to test this is to request a loan estimate on the very first day that you meet them, assuming you're calling them earlier in the day. Then to see if they're responsive or not, text them in a few hours just to see if they need any more information from you. I know this method probably isn't foolproof, and the loan officer might just be having a very busy day. However, first impressions generally do reveal a lot. As promised at the beginning of the video, I would talk about how I helped my friend save $50,000. I helped my friend save $50,000 by telling him to shop around for multiple lenders. He originally did what most people do and went with his trusted bank. However, the rate that they gave him was 1% higher than what he ended up going with. He ended up calling around a bunch of different lenders and then he ended up getting a rate that was 1% lower. At first, 1% doesn't seem like much, but 1% over the life of a 30-year loan is about $50,000 for his house. If you made it this far and you learned something and you want to help me out, click the like button as it'll tell YouTube to share this video out to more people. If you want a video on the overview of the home buying process and specifics into the escrow process, I'll link a video up above and then down below. Thanks again for watching. I hope you learned something helpful. I'll see you guys next week.